Another news worth your attention, over 900 bodies remain unclaimed at mortuaries across Gauteng.
The Provincial Health Department is calling on people with missing loved ones now to visit their nearest mortuaries to see if their relative could be there. Newzroom Afrika's Mnisi has more on the story.
When death usually strikes, families usually come together to give their loved ones a dignified send-off. But that's not the case for those whose bodies are yet to be identified or even claimed.
Some people may have moved from the initial address where maybe they took the ID while they were staying in certain addresses, and then because of people are moving because of work, and they will come from Eastern Cape or somewhere in the country or even outside the country. So that's where we have the process of identification here.
7 days is just how long it takes for the forensic pathology services to start taking fingerprints to give to the police and Home Affairs to match it with identification records. Officials have outlined how bodies are managed during this period.
If those bodies after 7 days they are not identified, we call them unidentified bodies, and they are moved from our normal storage to a freezer room to keep them, to preserve them for that period that I mentioned. But it could be even longer because we want the families to be able to find their loved ones.
So the forensic pathologists have just arrived with a new body. We're told it's decomposed, which is one of the things that makes identification quite complex.
VCI, they come and do the DNA for us, and then we keep the body for 30 days, and then after that we will start with the process of burying the body as a plot.
The cluster manager says in the past financial year, they collected about 1,600 unidentified bodies, an increase from the over 1,500 during the previous period. Pauper burials are conducted by municipalities.
Because we don't conduct the pauper's burial ourselves, it's not our responsibility. Ours is to facilitate that process when the body comes in and when there's still those investigations. After that is done, then obviously it gets transferred somewhere else in terms of the actual cost of burying. But the cost will be very minimal in the sense that it's a mass grave that the municipality will actually be able to facilitate.
While they're given names at birth, in the end of this process, they're buried as numbers. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Mnisi in Johannesburg.